The Texans back out for training camp after a day off, and boy, was it a busy one with a potential disaster occurring with an injury. But we'll talk about why there's not as much concern as initially there was with that injury and so much more, including Kamari Lassiter's excellence. The depth chart is out for the first game, unofficial, of course. We'll break that down, talk about the defensive line, and so much more. Appreciate you watching the video live. If you are live, get in the comment section. We'll get to all of your comments and questions over the course of this broadcast. And if you're watching after the fact, the comment section's still live for you, of course. And when you're headed down to the comment section, throw me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss anything when it comes to the Houston Texans and certainly Texans training camp. I'm there every day in living color. People say boots on the ground. I call it Stoots on the ground, if you will. So with the poor puns out of the way, let's talk about Titus Howard giving us all a big scare at Texans training camp today. It was towards the end of the first team period, and the next thing you know, I look up and Nick Broker, who played guard in college and played guard all of last year and is listed as a guard on the Texans roster, Nick Broker's playing right tackle. And I'm looking around and I'm looking around and I'm looking around and I see 71. I see Titus Howard walking off the field with a trainer. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Here we go again. This is Titus Howard. He's got the injury history. He got hurt in training camp last year. What's going on? And I was like, maybe he just needs a break. Maybe he needs water. He walks under this covered area that the Texans have between the two fields and sits down. And I was like, all right. Nothing to freak out about just yet. Don't have to worry too much about it. I'm still a little worried, but nothing to just, get too down about. And then, just like on game day, they pull the little blue tint over the table. And I was like, oh, no. Like, this is officially the biggest thing going on at practice is Titus Howard in the blue tint. And it would be a bit different, and it would be less scary if I knew that Blake Fisher could immediately – boom, go play right tackle, the backup offensive tackle that the Texans have that they drafted in the second round of this past year's draft. If I knew he could just slide right over there to right tackle and play right away, I'd feel less scary about Titus Howard, A, being on the training table, and B, the training tent going over him. But Blake Fisher's playing left tackle in training camp because Laramie Tunsil isn't ready right now. And Fisher's only been playing left tackle. So that leaves your right tackle options as Charlie Heck, and he didn't play worth a heck last year, and Nick Broker, who is playing right tackle for the first time in his NFL career. He was a guard last year, listed as a guard on the roster still. So then I'm watching exactly what's going on with that tent, and nothing's happening. And the longer the guy's in the tent, the more worried you get about the severity of the injury, the more worried you get about Titus Howard missing some significant amount of time and the Texans having to play catch up at the tackle spot. And we waited and we waited and we waited and we waited. And then towards the back end of the second team period, big exhale. Titus Howard walks out of the tent, walks over to where the offense is. Special teams period, they get on for the third team period. Titus Howard out there, right tackle. In fact, he was at his spot before everybody else when the third team period was getting ready to go. So a scary moment when 71's walking off the field, one of the most expensive right tackles in all of football, a part of one of the most expensive tackle duos in all of football. A scary moment averted. Crisis averted. Howard gets back out there, takes care of his business for the rest of practice. Monitor for tomorrow. We'll see if 71 goes tomorrow, which is the final practice before the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Now, I don't expect him at all to play on Thursday. So if the Texans wanted to give him a day off, say tomorrow, and the first time he's back on the field is a week from today in Cleveland for their practice when they stay and hang out in Ohio after the Hall of Fame, then so be it. I'd be totally for that. Give him the week to rest up, whatever may have happened. I don't know if it was lower body. I don't know if it was upper body. I don't know if it was between the ears. I don't know if he just needed to take a break because he hadn't had enough water. There's no explanation for why. I'll say this, though. He wasn't walking funny. He looked fine to me. And again, he got back out there. So crisis averted. Now, it's only a crisis because there's not a clear, capable backup at right tackle right now. Now, if Laramie Tunsil comes back for practice, he's practicing at left tackle, and you get some backup Blake Fisher reps over at right tackle, then I'll feel a little bit better. Fisher actually had a pretty nice day out at left tackle filling in for Laramie Tunsil. Now, it wasn't all Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter. He had a couple of moments against Derek Barnett, but still, Barnett's a nice player, and Fisher held his own. So it's only crisis, it's only freak out if Titus is down while Laramie's down. If Titus is down but Laramie's up, then you can put Fisher over there at right tackle. Look, Nick Broker's clearly here for a reason. The Texans grabbed him off of waivers before the season got started last year. He spent the entirety of the year with the team, and he's still on the team here heading into training camp. He's clearly here because the Texans have some little belief in him, but he's never played right tackle, so I would be a little worried about him out there. Charlie Heck hadn't looked good since his injury last year, so he even had a couple of moments today in practice. Malik Fisher, the UFL player, beat Heck on one for what would have been a sack. So you want Titus Howard. You want Laramie Tunsil out there at the tackle spots. Tunsil's still working back from the offseason, the injury, and hopefully Titus Howard is not going to miss any time. And if he does miss tomorrow, that's fine as long as he's on the field in Cleveland in 1 week. That's all that really, really matters coming out of the tent stay that Titus Howard had for a few moments today. So get your comments in, get your concerns in, get your joys, your questions in as well. We will get to those over the course of this video. Get to all of them. I promise you that. And I promise you, you'll have a fantastic furniture buying experience at Urban Furniture. UrbanFurnitureDecor.com is the website for my friends at Urban Furniture. They have the best prices in town on beautiful luxury furniture. You see it right there on the screen. Luxury meets affordability. That is the slogan at Urban Furniture and Decor. They're going to give you the opportunity to have this gorgeous, incredible, well-made furniture for the best price in town, specializing in Turkish furniture, but they've got Italian, they've got traditional American, they've got all the modern styles that you would want. Look at the beautiful furniture right there in the video. Urban Furniture will take care of you. I always say, from the bedroom to the breakfast room, they've got something for everybody. Stop by the showroom at 7909 Hillcroft. Visit the website, UrbanFurnitureDecor.com, and see for yourself. If you go to the showroom, you can plop right down on those couches, plop right down in those chairs, right there on the beds, the mattresses. You'll find out right away that you have an incredible opportunity for some fantastic furniture at Urban Furniture and Decor. UrbanFurnitureDecor.com. UrbanFurnitureDecor.com is the website. Let's get to some of your comments here, because that was kind of the scary. That was the bad. We'll get to much more of the good here from Titus Howard. So some of your comments to get us started. Danny, good to see you. Lumineer, appreciate you. Ken, good to see you. BG, we will break down the unofficial depth chart. We will have a full breakdown of it in this video. Okay. Josh, good to see you. I owe you an email. I'll get to you. The depth chart breakdown's coming. Don't worry. STX Texan, appreciate you jumping in. Good to see you. Good to see you. We'll talk about Danico Autry. Interesting that Kamari is locked in at CB2. Hey, lockdown, as he was known today at the podium from Jimmy Ward. We'll talk about him next. Good to see you, JB. Rick, appreciate you. Jalen, looks like Marcus Harris, Khalil Davis need to step up because of the Autry suspension. We'll talk about the D-line. Titus is not soft, man. He is not soft. He's played through some tough injuries. He's playing through a knee injury last year. Not soft. Does he get hurt? Sure. But he's not soft. Season has barely started. Yeah, I mean, look, he came back. He worked out. So my concern level dropped, significantly, because he was able to get back on the field. Besides Fisher, is there anybody else practicing at left tackle? They got a couple of different guys out there. I've seen David Sharp out there at left tackle, guy they added in free agency, but they've got some guys behind Fisher that are working out there at left tackle. Let's see here. A couple more comments. All right. Let's get to some of the I got you bookmarked on where I'm starting the comments again. And can the O-line please stay healthy? Yeah, that'd be nice. They could just get a year of healthy offensive line. That'd be real nice. All right. Kamari Lassiter's awesome, man. He had a fantastic day today. Started off early, him on Tank Dell, forced an incompletion late in practice in like a 2-minute drill where the offense had to score. He's just so good. And Jimmy Ward talked about him after practice, and he calls him Lockdown, which Lassiter's self-appointed nickname is the Locksmith. Okay. But Jimmy Ward kept calling him Lockdown, which is, it makes me laugh, like a little bit of an older player getting the nickname wrong. But then he was asked, like, hey, does he get to keep his nickname? And Jimmy was like, I gave him the nickname Lockdown because of what he was doing in training camp or in mini camp and OTAs. So Jimmy Ward has been impressed for Kamari Lassiter since mini camp and OTAs, which is the same time we've been telling you here on the channel about Kamari Lassiter and how fantastic he's looked out there at the cornerback spot. If they played a real game tomorrow, a real regular season game tomorrow, he'd be the starting cornerback opposite Derek Stingley. It hasn't even really been close. From day one, it feels like he's walked in there and checked every box that he needs to check to be the guy, to be the starter opposite Derek Stingley. He's been fantastic. And the stickiness, you hear D'Amico Ryans mention it from time to time. They want sticky corners. He's been on the hip of whoever he's defending, it feels like every time. And even today, when there was a short pass in front of him, that closing speed was no problem. He got there in a hurry to stop that play from going any further. He's been really impressive as a rookie. Jimmy Ward talked about him a ton. Noah Brown said that Lassiter is the best rookie cornerback that he's ever gone against. Now, I don't know the exact list of rookie cornerbacks that Noah Brown has gone up against in his career, but that's still high praise. I mean, he has checked every box that he needs to check at the cornerback spot to be the guy and be the starter opposite Derek Stingley on this defense. And it's not just, oh, he's the starter because nobody else is any good. He's the starter because he's been really darn good at that cornerback spot, and it has been a fantastic draft pick so far by Nick Caserio. That's something Jimmy Ward mentioned as well. A lot of platitudes to D'Amico Ryans and Nick Caserio transforming this roster and giving them the opportunity that they have here in 2024. And Lassiter is a part of that, set to be cornerback 2 starting opposite Derek Stingley. So continues the impressive camp. It's been fantastic for him. I would tell you that I don't even know we're going to see him Thursday in the Hall of Fame game. He might be to that level considered a starter and not need the game work in that one because he's been so good in training camp. The flip side of that is, hey, the wide receivers have been pretty darn good. It's been a fierce wide receiver battle in training camp. Now, I've been telling you, I feel like there's a for sure 1 through 4, and that's Collins, Dell, and Diggs. We know about those 3. And I'd tell you Noah Brown's on this team, number 4. So those are your 4. That leaves 2 spots open. Who are those 2 spots going to? Over the weekend, I would have told you that it was John Mechie, Ben Skoranek. Today, I'd tell you it's Ben Skoranek, Xavier Hutchinson. Tomorrow, I may give you a different answer. It just feels like it is so close between all of these guys for that 5th and 6th wide receiver spot that ultimately nothing that they do is going to surprise me because it could be quite literally any one of these guys. Again, at the end of practice today, I felt like it was Skoranek and I felt like it was Xavier Hutchinson. Hutchinson has had a nice little camp. He's had some explosive plays. Today he had a really nice one. Davis Mills hit him in the front of the end zone on a little out right there in the front line of the end zone, and Hutchinson brought it down after he beat Desmond King off the line, and it looked really good. Again, he's had some really nice moments in camp, catch and run type stuff. Has gotten deep a few times, hasn't always connected with the quarterback, but got deep a handful of times. And then Skoranek, he just does everything on special teams, and he has some really tough stuff over the middle that he's able to accomplish. I mean, he's fought through some contact for some catches in the past few practices, and I just feel like he is going to be the guy. If the other wide receiver they keep is not special teams inclined, then Skoranek kind of makes the team. It doesn't really screw the other wide receiver as much as it screws other people because Skoranek can do so much. I mean, he can play kickoff return, kickoff coverage, punt return, punt coverage. He can do basically everything that you need from a special teams standpoint. So nice, fierce battle. Again, That's today. Tomorrow it could be different. I'll say this, Steven Sims, the special teams acumen is obviously there. The return ability is obviously there for Steven Sims. He can't drop passes. I mean, he had one hit him right in the hands and just fall today. Like, he can't drop passes if he's going to make this team as a wide receiver and contribute on special teams. It's what can you do for me? And with 53 men on the roster, 46 active on game day, guys are going to have to be able to do a lot. You can't just be just the return guy on this team. Okay. Sims has got to, bring a little bit more to the table and jump that thing up a little bit. So there's where you are on the wide receivers. Now, defensive line with Danico Autry. This will be a little short comment because there's more coming on this a little bit later on. Danico Autry, if you haven't heard, the Texans signed him in the offseason from the Tennessee Titans. Today, the NFL announced he is suspended for 6 games of the 2024 season. So he will start his suspension with the Colts game. He'll miss the first 6 games, which is a matchup. Let's see if I can do this off the top of my head. With the Colts, a matchup at home with the Jags and the Bills, a matchup on the road with the New England Patriots. Come on, what am I missing here? Let's see, there's 4. I'm trying to do this on top of my head. I've not committed. Sunday Night Football against the Bears and a matchup in Minnesota against the Vikings. So he's down for those games. He's not there. Danico Autry's absence is not a huge deal right now because the defensive line and the depth has paid off to this point. Now we may know why Jerry Hughes is exactly here. Hughes was added right before training camp got going. Curious decision. Maybe the Texans had a whiff that this Danico Autry thing was going to come down. That's why you've got Jerry Hughes in case you need him for those first 6 games. But with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter and Derek Barnett, you're good at the top 3 from defensive end. You're still better than what you were last year when it was Grenard, Anderson as a rookie, and Jerry Hughes. Like, the 3 that you'd put at the top 3 defensive end is better than what you had last year. And Hughes has looked pretty nice in camp as well. Plus, you've had some really good production out of the defensive tackles to this point. Mario Edwards, the decade veteran, officially defensive tackle on the roster. He's been fantastic. Him and Foley Fadukasi have sort of set the tone at that defensive tackle spot each and every day. Khalil Davis has made a play here or there. Kurt Heinisch made some plays today from the defensive tackle spot. They've gotten enough production from defensive line to not miss Danico Autry for 6 games. Now, obviously, the amount of people that you're going to have to choose from shrinks when the regular season gets here, but they've got enough to handle a 6-game absence for Danico Autry. Unfortunate, but as an older player, he gets to sort of ramp up, and you get the best full-bore max effort from Danico Autry for the final 12 or so games after he kind of works back in and whips back into football shape, 10 or so games. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world that's ever happened. Okay? It's not great, but it's not the worst thing in the world. They are not in some dire consequence and dire situation because of the consequences of Danico Autry's actions. Now, he claims he didn't know, pharmacy mix-up. Yeah, the NFL doesn't care. They've heard that 1,000 times. Okay? They've heard that 1,000 times. All right, we will get to your comments here, and let's fire through them. Super chats go to the front of the line. Cajun Girl says, call J.J. Watt. J.J. ain't coming back for training camp. J.J. ain't coming back for a full length of the season if he is ever coming back, and I don't believe he is coming back. Spencer K. says, the legend that is Mr. Stoots. I'm far from a legend, but hopefully one day. Keeping the world up to date with the Texans. Cheers. Cheers to you, Spencer. Good to see you. From, Spencer. I don't want to get it wrong. You're international, but I don't remember where. Are you North Wales? Are you the Wales guy? Gosh, I'm afraid to guess because I don't want to make anybody. This is great. Right back to back. JJ is not coming back, guys. JJ's coming back, guys. I don't believe JJ's coming back right now. I wouldn't play Titus or LT till the season open or need them to stay healthy while practicing. Yeah, look, if you feel like you need to get him a couple reps with the first team, and D'Amico Ryans talked after practice about the cohesion that the team is still trying to find on the offensive line. Then if you feel you need to get him a few snaps, be my guest. What are the JJ odds now? Still low, still near 0. Mario Edwards has been fantastic. He's playing tackle, but he can also play end if he had to. He's been really good. He's been really good. Yeah, Roland's pumped about football this week. You and me both, man. You and me both. Yeah, Edwards has been good. Is the linebacker depth a bigger need now, or the rookie linebackers doing well enough? Neville Hewitt's played pretty well. Jake Hanson's played pretty well with Christian Harris out. Harris is back on the field in a workout situation. He was working out off to the side for the Texans, but he's still not practicing. But working out on the side means he's close to practicing. So, Jim with a question: if the AC goes out of Urban Furniture, they call Dwayne at Platinum AC and Heating. Yeah, of course, you should too. Okay, all right, but they take care of you over at Urban Furniture. The beautiful showroom. I mean, you could spend hours in there sitting on all manner of things. It's fantastic. I'm glad you brought them up, Jim. Let's talk a little bit about Urban Furniture. Look at this gorgeous furniture. Look at this great showroom. Look at the options that you have, the different styles and beautiful, vibrant colors in this well-made furniture. You could redo your entire house and it won't cost you a mortgage to redo it. So many places in town have these giant, expensive price tags attached to furniture. Not Urban Furniture and Decor. They do the best for you in bringing you beautiful luxury furniture at a great affordable price. From Turkish furniture, Italian furniture, the best of modern American and traditional American, any style, they can do it for you from the bedroom to the breakfast room. Side tables, bed frames, headboards, anything and everything. They'll take care of you at Urban Furniture. Visit the website and see the great prices. UrbanFurnitureDecor.com. UrbanFurnitureDecor.com, and you can see all those great, fantastic prices right there on the website. Appreciate them sponsoring this video. Low. Who almost got hurt? Titus Howard. He was hurt. He was missing a little bit of time there. He was missing a little bit of time there. JB says, I was hoping Petrie would be unofficially be listed at starting nickel, so Bullock could be listing at started safety. Yeah, no, I wouldn't worry too much. I bet you're going to get a lot of Kalen Bullock in this matchup. A lot of Kalen Bullock in this matchup. Hey, Cody, any job advice for someone who just turned 20? Send me an email. I'll be happy to give you some advice. My email is in the description. Send me an email, Jake Lebron. Mr. Robot, Lasser's awesome. I've seen him be in so many people's hot pockets, and then he corrects himself, hip pockets, which seems impossible if he's slow. He has not been football slow yet. I have not seen Kamari Lassiter be football slow yet. Yeah, I was confused when he was saying lockdown, but we get the message, which is important. Yeah, Jimmy Ward calls Kamari Lassiter lockdown, which Lassiter calls himself the locksmith. It's similar but different. Yeah, finally the guys get to beat up on somebody else. Yeah, certainly. Cody, what's up, man? Been missing your lives lately. Always plugged in the Texans update. Good to see you in for a live, Bando. Appreciate you. The secondary was a worry this offseason, not anymore. Yeah, it's slowly moving down the worry pecking order. Can't wait to watch the rookies Thursday night. Yeah, there's some fun ones, man. There's some fun rookies. There's some fun matchups there. And here's another thing, too, about the Hall of Fame game. You can practice okay. You can practice good even. How do you do when the lights come on? How do you do when it's game time, the clock's running, the officials are out there, the other team's not wearing your logo? How do you do when the lights come on? That's going to be a big thing for the Texans and their evaluation of these guys. All right, my hat's all crooked. There we go. Primary worries interior D-line. I'm not as worried about it as I was because Edwards, Fadukasi, Davis, Settles had a moment here or there. They got some options there at the interior D-line. I'm not as worried. How's Seven doing in camp? Because there's conflicting thoughts out there. Well, the offensive line hasn't played very well. The offensive line hadn't played very well, but C.J. Stroud still made some incredible throws, and he's had to kind of scramble and just kind of figure it out and just try to throw it into some tight coverage. It's not. I mean, if anybody's telling you C.J. Stroud looks bad, send them to the closest eye doctor. Keenum did not practice today. I don't know if it's an injury or a day off. Who's the biggest surprise on the D-line? It's got to be Mario Edwards. He's playing fantastic. I must Pandaline in USA Women's Basketball up 27. I'm checking in. Good to see you. I'd have been watching that, but, they kept Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese off, so I'm withdrawing my support to learn the gold medal game. In-N-Out Mobile Services says, hey, best pick of the draft, the locksmith. Maybe. Lassiter's going to be that pick we talk about a lot in the near future. Yeah, absolutely. And look, if he has some growing pains, it's okay. We know that the top end is there for Kamari Lassiter. That's the fun part is like some of the top end stuff he's shown from like how good he can be with Diggs, with Dell, some of the Collins matchups. Like if he can put that on a semi-consistent basis and just have a high floor, then there's a lot to like about that draft pick. Mr. Bo on top, good to see you. Bo on the top, excuse me. How is CJ Stroud himself doing? Yeah, he's been fine. I mean, there's nothing bad to report from CJ. Noah Brown has won against Diggs and Bland when they were rookies. Okay, so Noah Brown went against Trevon Diggs, so Stefon's brother, and Deron Bland, who was Mr. Interception last year. So that's lofty praise. Lofty praise. Danny says, I don't know why we doubted this kid. His presentation is amazing when he puts pads on, man. He's scary. I'm assuming you mean Kamari Lassiter. Do we have salary cap do we save salary cap with Autry's suspension? Need to find that out. I had the same thought earlier. I don't think you owe him the money if he's suspended. I do not believe they can go 7 wide receivers just because they have so many other needs elsewhere, and that wide receiver is very specific in what they can bring to the table. If you have a safety, he can play all the coverage units, and then in a pinch, he could maybe walk up and help you from a cornerback standpoint. Like wideouts can't be running backs, wideouts can't be tight ends, wideouts can't play defense. Like there's too narrow of a margin for what they need. Cody, can you please give my little report a shout out? Charles is her a name. Shout out, Mr. Ball on the top. You told me this was coming, so shout out to your little one. Appreciate you, Charles. Charlotte. Shout out to the little one. How would you rank these camp performances? Sims, Mechie, Brown, Woods, Hutchinson, Skoranek. Darkman, man, this is a tough one. Brown, Skoranek, Hutchinson, Woods, Mechie, Sims. That'd be the ranking. Brown, Skoranek, Hutchinson, Woods, Mechie, Sims. I feel like Kamari might be the steal of the draft. He could be. I did a video about how could he be a steal earlier in the summer. And I mean, he's on his way to being a steal. It hasn't been there consistently just yet. It hasn't been there consistently for John Mechie just yet. So it's a good thought, Ken, but it hadn't been there just consistently yet. People worry about 40 times. If not, Kamari would have went in the first round if he ran a 4.3 low 4.4. Yeah, I mean, if he was faster on the timer, maybe he goes before the Texans get the chance. Someone check if Amy Adams Strunk from the Titans has anything to do with the testing or the pharmacy. That's good. That's good. All right, let me get caught up here. If he was a lot faster, maybe he goes a lot higher. Lassiter's, he's been really good so far. For the draft, I remember a bunch of mucks having Kamari as maybe the top 3 corner. I forget the draft process for these very discussions. Yeah, he was all over the place in the draft process. All over the place. Fadukasi's been good, man. He's been good. Stepping on CJ Stroud's foot notwithstanding, but he's been good. Is this why we haven't seen much from Autry taking first-team defensive line reps? Well, he's not a first-team defensive lineman. He's not a tackle, so he's not going to be in there over Fadukasi and Edwards, and he's not an end that's going to start over Anderson or Danielle Hunter. Jerry Hughes' move was genius. He was one player who has beef with the Titans wearing our hand-me-downs last season too. Yeah. Jerry Hughes, man, he's still got some juice. Still doing it. Is there any appeal to the suspension? So he's going to take his suspension is the wording that I guess Ian Rappaport had. Yeah, so I think he's going to take the suspension. This appeal process, rarely does the appeal process work. You know who it actually worked for one time was Dwayne Brown. Dwayne Brown appealed one time because he said he ate tainted meat in Mexico, and then he had the ability to prove that he ate tainted meat in Mexico, and he actually got a suspension, I think, taken away. At the very least, it was reduced, but I believe he got it taken away. My memory's a little fuzzy. But Dwayne Brown is one of the guys that was able to appeal and get the suspension reduced. Okay, couple more questions. Let's go to the depth chart real quick. And let's take a look at the depth chart. I mean, no big surprises here. Let's see, is my face cover anything up? So let's do it to the side here. Obviously, C.J. Stroud, Davis Mills, Case Keenum, Tim Boyle, bing, bang, boom. You knew that was coming. Joe Mixon, Dameon Pierce, Dare Ogunbowale. That's certainly going to be the 1, 2, 3 from the running back room. Jawar Jordan ahead of Cam Akers, J.J. Taylor, British Brooks. I get it. He's made a couple more plays. You can't put all these guys under each other at the same. These guys are all very close. I would tell you Jordan with a slight lead on the other guys. And I would go as far as tell you Brooks has been better than Akers and Taylor so far. Again, notice these big words at the top, unofficial depth chart here for the Houston Texans. So let's not freak out too much. Andrew Beck at fullback, he's not healthy yet, so I don't anticipate you'll see him. So Harrison's going to get all those fullback reps. 3 starting wide receivers. You knew that was going to happen. They weren't going to put one of these guys as a backup. Don't read too much into the depth chart spots because a lot of these guys do a lot of different things and move around and can play a bunch of different spots there. Kenyon Green's going to get first crack at that left guard job, and that's the guy that's been getting the opportunity with the crack there. So your tight ends to be expected. Now, Stover over Quateriano makes sense because Stover's got the draft pick investment and he's practiced and played better so far in training camp than Quateriano, but don't sleep on Quateriano's ability to maybe figure this thing out and force the Texans to have a long thought about 4 tight ends. Charlie Heck, your backup right tackle. That's not what we saw today. We saw Nick Broker out there as the backup right tackle, so that's something to watch out for. All right, Will Anderson, Mario Edwards, Folo, Ransu Fatukasi, a.k.a. Foley Fatukasi, and Daniil Hunter. That all makes sense. Your backups, Barnett and Autry as your backups, okay. Obviously, with Autry out, you maybe would say Jerry Hughes is the guy right there. Ollie Gay's hanging around. Malik Fisher's hanging around. Solomon Bird's hanging around. They got to get a little bit more. And you'll see a lot of Gay and Fisher and Bird in the Hall of Fame game, I would assume. Dylan Horton is on the depth chart. He's on the non-football injury list. He's been working off to the side. He's not been practicing. Your linebackers, we know Christian Harris hasn't been practicing. Henry To'o with those guys, he's been in there a bunch with Alshire and whoever's filling in for Harris. Delshon Phillips has had that opportunity a couple times. Neville Hewitt's been on the field a lot. The big thing here, Kamari Lassiter starting, Kalen Bullock as the backup to Petrie. Stewart has had a better camp than Bullock. Again, unofficial depth chart is the name of this thing. But you should see a lot of 41 come Thursday. And then your punt returner, kick returner depth charts. You're putting 2 kick returners out there, so 31 and 82 back there together will be interesting. Tank Dell on the depth chart as the punt returner. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's exactly what they're going to do. Seems a little iffy to me. But Desmond King is a solid high floor guy for all of that. So that is certainly something to pay attention to. All right. Let me apologize, one text message. And I will get right back to all of your comments. All right, back. All right, fire through the comments because I'm done at 3:59. So I got about 10 minutes here, and let's fire through these. Who was his pharmacist? Brian Cushing. That's mean, but also funny. Good job, Jim. Is Keenum going to transition into a coach? Now, I know Case Keenum's going to coach football when he's done playing football. I just don't know if he's done playing football. How are we feeling about Petrie at nickel? Some days it looks good. Some days it doesn't look good. Some days it looks good. Some days it doesn't look good. I'm excited to see it in a little bit of a preseason game against maybe some. I'm really excited to see it against the Rams because they're going to throw some awesome slot receivers at him. So I'm really excited to see it against the Rams. Not too worried about it. Get arrested, Autry back after 6 games, right when we may need a little boost. Absolutely. John the Wise is in the house. Is that you, John? You're the Wise? Christopher, man, appreciate that. Swarm the like button and the subscribe button. Yeah, down there, little thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Can you appeal? Yes, but I believe he's going to take the suspension. Although he did say he's going to pursue legal recourse. D-line's full of old man strength. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they got no shortage of that. Kevin says, talk to Whataburger. Maybe. Let's see. Is Andrew Beck starting? I mean, practicing. Beck had a weird moment today. Beck was in his pads. Beck was geared up, looked like he was ready to go back off the PUP list, and then took his pads off and worked out on the side. So I don't know if there was a hiccup or a hubbub there, but Andrew Beck feels like he's really close to being back. Feels like 110 in H-Town. Keep your AC up and running. I think you guys know who to call for that. So was Mixon back today? He was not. Joe Mixon watched practice today. Bubba's Eat says, what's good, Cody? Today's practice was packed. Yeah, there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people there today. They were filing in as I was getting in. I'm always making spelling mistakes with those 2 ham fists I have from years of lifting weights, stubby fingers, and a tiny phone. Boy, I mean, I've fat fingered my share of text messages in the day, so nothing to it. Pandaline laughing at my women's Olympic basketball explanation. Is the tight end depth the best on the team? No. I would tell you the wide receiver depth is the best on the team. There's some good players there, man. They've got a really fun wide receiver core. I heard a Titans fan insult our QB. He called him CJ Prescott. Yeah, well, Malik Willis looked better than Will Levis the other day, according to one Titans guy. So they need to keep their eyes on their own damn paper. Is Agubawale kicking? No. Have you done one of the 53 for early camp prediction articles yet? I have one 53-man, one way too early 53-man up. I have that up on Houston Football as before training camp got started. Maybe after the first game, the first preseason game, we'll get a kind of an updated prediction. Viromaniac's taking the bar exam tomorrow. You're going to nail it. I think it takes a long time to get your results. You pass the bar exam tomorrow when you take it, and I'll give you a free month to Houston Football if you're not already subscribed. You're a lawyer or on your way to being a lawyer, so you may already have been subscribed. But knock it out, Viromaniac. Good to see you, Jonathan. How the linebackers look today? Man, they're flying all over. The D-line opens up a lot of stuff for them. Tony Ayo says, Dwayne Brown and Canelo Alvarez got away with the Mexican meat excuse. I didn't know about Canelo. Which low depth guys keep an eye on the Hall of Fame game? Mike Ford, Max Tooley, Jamal Hill, McTelvin Agam, Marcus Harris. And on offense, Yonke, Sims, Jawar Jordan, obviously. You know what? Rolando, excuse me. That's going to have to be a video. We'll do a video. All right, I don't want to leave anybody hanging here. We've got a few minutes left. Haven't heard too much about Kenyon Green. That's always a good thing. There have been some moments he probably wanted back. I'll say that. We're set at tight end. Can't forget about Brevin Jordan. He's one hell of a weapon in the wild card. Yeah, and I like Brevin Jordan's comments about that. It was Friday. I'm tired of talking about the wild card game. I want to build on that. I want to be better than that. It's kind of the messaging that he had, and I love that. Is Stoots going to drop a Texans Woj Shams bomb by checking his phone? No. None of that. Not yet. So the defense get the better of the offense again today. I would tell you the defense slightly ahead of the offense today. want to see everyone that's healthy playing Thursday. Rather knock the rust off now and let the starters rest in the fourth preseason game. I just don't believe that's going to be the way that they're going to do that. I just don't believe that's the way they're going to do that. JM says, hey, Cody, not sure if you went over this, but on the Mike Evans news, rather have him or Diggs? I'd rather have Diggs. He fits the build of the wide receiver room better. And if they had both been an option, I would have told you I'd rather have Diggs than Evans. Evans kind of replicates a little bit of Nico Collins' skill set, which with Diggs allows them to kind of mix and match and move around a little bit more. We should re-sign Brevin. Let's let the season play on a little bit. Let's let the season play out a little bit before we start giving everybody contracts here. So, okay. That text message was setting me up a meeting here for 4 o'clock. So, we finished this one up. Housekeeping, talk to the hat guy. Hats are on the way. Working on those. Should have them pretty soon. Stickers on the way. Should have them pretty soon. Card art, you'll have the opportunity to buy that as well. Of course, Houston football in the description down below. Thumbs up the video. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. Watch the locker room. Landry does a fantastic job. Okay. What am I missing here for the housekeeping? We calling JJ? No. That's it. I think that'll do it. All right. This is my hope for you. This is my charge for you. And this is how we end every live stream every time. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. I can't wait until we talk Texans again soon. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Plenty more coming on the channel. Houston football, Twitter, however you get your news. I got you covered here. Thank you for watching. Blast today. Be a blast tomorrow. Getting you through the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Going to be great. Going to be great. Going to be a lot of fun. Thanks, everybody. Eat good, sleep good, be good.